What's going on, y'all? It's JD PicKell. Today on the Hard Count, we're going to talk about just how good this Baylor defense is going to be in 2021. So if you've been keeping up with everything here on the Hard Count, then you know that my very first video was talking about, I think Baylor could potentially have a shot at the Big 12. Now, it's an outside shot, need a lot of things to go right, but one of the reasons I think that is because I anticipate this defense being borderline dominant. Got a lot of heat. Some people agreed, some people disagreed, some people were in the middle. I want to read off a comment by one Sam Bear, and I think you'll understand the comment is very much true to the username. Quote, I'm in the small minority here, but I think that y'all are giving our defense too much credit. A lot of teams shredded us last year, including some with average offenses. Our defense will be solid, but I don't see anything close to a top 10 D than many are predicting. Of course, I'm more concerned about the O, where I don't think we have a single position of strength. A 500 record would be a very good year. Again, Sam Bear is true to their username, very Sam Bear take, but I think that I disagree. Not only do I think, I know I disagree with you, Sam Bear. When it comes down to this, the defense is going to carry us. And you look at what they did a year ago, and they are not only going to get another year in the system, they're going to be improved because of the addition of Apu Ika. Absolute game changer. So I'm going to start on the back end and work our way up and tell you why this defense will be so good. Starting at safety, Christian Morgan, a single-digit guy, a guy that plays physical, is the heart and soul of what they do on the back end. He's just a freak physically. Was the number one spark rating nationally, meaning of all the kids that did the spark combine, Christian Morgan was number one from the power ball toss to the vertical jump. Like, the guy is just basically an X-Man when it comes down to what he has physically. He has great instincts. Was number one in the conference actually with 3 interceptions a season ago. So he's a guy that's going to get another chance to take another step this coming season. Again, getting another year in the system, playing next to a guy in JT Woods who's going to complement his style of play. So moving on to JT Woods, he's that free safety type. He's long, he's lanky, about 6'2", great straight line speed, and he's just a ball magnet. Again, tied with Christian Morgan for the conference lead in interceptions with 3, and he is just a guy that you want on your team because of his versatility. He tackles pretty well, not great. He has great ball skills, like I mentioned, and so the two of them on the back end are going to give you everything you want. You got your run supporter in Christian Morgan, you got your ball hawk in JT Woods, so I'm feeling pretty good about what Baylor has on the back end. You move up a level, you got your linebackers, and it's just ridiculous what they have at that second level with Dylan Doyle, who was productive as all get out, really stepped up huge when Terrell Bernard went down a season ago, and he's going to get another year in the system. People talked about the offense getting installed over Zoom. People forget you installed a defense over Zoom as well with Ron Roberts, so letting him jump in here and try and install what he had for a guy like Dylan Doyle who came from Iowa, who didn't get a spring, for him to play as well as he did a season ago makes me really excited for what he's going to do in 2021. I'd be surprised if he's not a single digit come the fall. Next to him, you have the single digit in Terrell Bernard, a guy who went down, but at the time was leading the conference in tackles with 55. I expect him to be all Big 12, if not all American when it's all said and done. He's extremely quick, not so much fast, extremely quick, has phenomenal instincts for the ball, is always around there, a sure tackler, and just is the motor and the heart and soul of what they do at the middle level of this defense. You hear me say heart and soul a lot, but that's a good thing. You have guys that can be playmakers on the back end, at the middle, and eventually, obviously, we're going to talk about the defensive line. We'll get there in a second. Next to him, you have Jalen Petrie, who came out of nowhere for a lot of people a season ago. He is extremely quick, not so much fast, which is a theme across this defense, extremely quick, a sure tackler, and is a ball magnet. Much like JT Woods, the ball just finds a way to Jalen Petrie. He had 2 pick sixes a season ago. He's very opportunistic. Reminds me kind of a Tyrann Mathieu. He's a bigger profile than the Honey Badger, but he plays like him with how tenacious he is in pass coverage and then also coming up to fill on those run plays and blitzes. So for Jalen Petrie, not only will he get another year in this scheme, he'll get another year at a new position. He had never played star before. He was kind of a tweener between linebacker and safety, played linebacker under Coach Rule, and then found his role as a star and obviously became a star at that position. So Jalen Petrie, another guy who I think all Big 12, maybe third-team All-American, depending on how productive he is and how good Baylor ends up being, but he's another guy that you're so excited to have on your team, and he, again, is going to take another step in this system and at that position. Then you talk about corners. You really have the best of both worlds, much like you have best of both worlds at safety. You got Raleigh Tejada, kind of the technician, just goes to work. He's been in an island before, had some troubles last year staying healthy. We're going to see him at full health this season, and I think return to that Raleigh Tejada of old that we've all come to know and love. And then you got Kalen Boogie Barnes, who has phenomenal straight line speed. He could be a sprinter. Played with the club most of last year, which just shows you his grit and his blue-collar attitude, but he's going to be a great matchup for those bigger receivers. Boogie Barnes standing around 6 foot. He's going to be a great matchup for those guys that want to try and bully you on the outside, the Justin Blackmons, the Pro Wells, the DK Metcalf. So you can even say DK Metcalf because there's not a whole lot of him walking around. But basically, Kalen Barnes is going to account for a lot of things that teams want to do from a matchup perspective. They're not going to be able to take advantage of him on the outside. Then you get to the defensive line, and you have TJ Franklin, who I think is going to take a huge step forward. And then I think you have either Ashton Logan or Garmin Randolph playing that jack. I think they have a lot of potential. We've heard good things about them. Garmin Randolph, a guy who had big-time offers coming out of high school, which says a lot about his physical tools. And then the man in the middle who's going to make it all happen, Apu Ika. It's hard to run the football when you have a 340, 350-pound man standing over your center. It just is. And we saw him in the spring game playing for both teams, absolutely wreaking havoc. He is going to be a difference maker from game one. I believe he truly has the ability to go to the NFL and be a first-round pick. He's going to be someone that they talk about all game long when you see Baylor play this season. So Apu Ika, again, he's a big man, but he's also very quick. He does a great job with his hands, doesn't lose a block. You're going to have to double team him if you want to even have a chance at running the ball at Baylor this season. And so one thing that I think Sam Bear was getting at, which isn't totally unfair, there were some offenses last year that really took advantage of Baylor, particularly running the ball. Baylor was second in the conference in terms of pass defense, but they were near last in the conference, allowing 180 yards a game on the ground. So you add up Ika, you get your linebackers healthy and get them a full season under them. I think that's going to be the difference maker for Baylor. And another thing we got to talk about is if the offense is even marginally improved, they're going to be a lot better on defense, because as a defense, we'd see them play well for the first 2 quarters and then come out in that third quarter, and they're gassed from having been on the field the entirety of that first half of football. So if the offense can just sustain some more drives, that's going to be crucial for this defense playing better as the game wears on, and I think we're going to see a lot less holes when it comes to their rush defense. So all things considered, the offense improved is going to help the defense. The defense is going to be better because they've had more time in the system, and they've got dudes returning that have played a whole lot of football. And then Apu Ika is just a game wrecker. So that's it for us here at the Hard Count. We're going to keep this party rolling. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see y'all next time.